almost 24 hours we have got without the Fever's new signing attacking Fever fans. We almost got 24 hours.
Brianna Turner just touched down in Indiana, and let's be real, she's dodging more smoke than a BBQ pit at an Indy 500 tailgate. After some suspect past comments about Caitlin Clark and the Fever, fans were ready to hit her with their turn to sender label before she even laced up. But Brianna's here to prove she's not the villain. She's the missing piece for a championship run. Will she win over Fever Fan Nation, or is she about to get the frostiest welcome in team history? Let's get into it.
Of course, I'm with the Indiana Fever. The backlash, the outrage is real, all right? And you might be like, well, why is everybody so up in arms? Well, I mean, you go look at Turner's Twitter X feed.
Brianna Turner has officially joined the Indiana Fever. And let's just say, some fans are looking at her like she walked into a Colts bar wearing a Patriots jersey. Yep, after some not-so-Fever-friendly comments about Caitlin Clark and Indiana in the past, some folks were ready to greet her with pitchforks, a lie detector test, and a mandatory Caitlin Clark fan club membership form. But hold on, because Brianna isn't here for the drama, she's here to win. And guess what? She's making it clear that she's all in on the Fever's championship run.
You can be an activist, that's fine. No, I have no issue with a player on the team being an activist. I think most people don't have an issue with a player being an activist. But when you've already started clapping back on people on Twitter, that is not being an activist, that's having Twitter fingers. The reason why people are annoyed at Brie Turner is that you've got Twitter fingers. You clearly let Twitter affect you. And unfortunately, you can't play for the Lakers if you let Twitter affect you. You can't play for Real Madrid if you let Twitter affect you. You can't play for Barcelona if you let Twitter affect you. You can't play for the Sky if you let Twitter affect you. And you definitely can't play for the Fever if you let Twitter affect you.
Now, let's be real. When the news first broke that Brianna Turner was coming to Indiana, some Fever fans reacted like their ex just texted, "Hey, I miss you." Confused, skeptical, a little nauseous. But Brianna wasted no time responding, saying she's thrilled to be here and ready to compete for a championship. Basically, she's trying to turn that awkward first date energy into a full-blown love story.
I said I wasn't happy about Sydney Colson for a variety of reasons, but we're off that. Today, come to find out, Brianna Turner has signed a contract with the Indiana Fever. Brianna Turner. And if you guys don't know, my instant reaction when I saw this, my instant reaction was very similar to our friend W360's instant reaction. Indiana Fever signs another WNBA freedom fighter off the end of the bench. Yes, the Indiana Fever, Kelly Krauskopf, Andrew Cox, they went and they found the #1 activist. Folks, at least they did it big, right? What'd they say? We do it big. Something like that. Whatever. At least they signed the best.
But let's talk about why people were side-eyeing her in the first place. See, Brianna made some comments in the past that had Indiana fans feeling like they just read a bad Yelp review about their favorite restaurant. She wasn't exactly hyping up the Fever, and when it came to Caitlin Clark, well, let's just say she wasn't leading the parade. So naturally, some fans hit the, "Oh, now you want to be here?"
And of course, why aren't we surprised? The block party has already begun. The block party has already begun. We're blocking Fever fans because somebody asked a question, because somebody made a quick look.
It's like when you spend years trash-talking pineapple on pizza, and then one day you show up to the pizza party like, "Hey guys, I brought Hawaiian." We're just supposed to forget? But, to Brianna's credit, she's not hiding from it. Instead of pulling the classic "I was hacked" excuse, she's facing it head-on, saying she's genuinely excited to be a part of this team and help the Fever make a run for that championship. She's basically looking at the fans like, "Hey, I know we got off on the wrong foot, but can we be besties now?"
someone who actually broke this story. She said Brianna Turner has signed with the Indiana Fever per the WNBA transition page. Some depth for the Fever front court. Brianna Turner signed a contract with the Fever.
Because at the end of the day, talent wins games, and Brianna Turner can hoop. If she locks in, plays defense like her life depends on it, and helps the Fever stack up those wins, let's be real. Fans will go from, she's a traitor, to, she's our defensive queen and we'd die for her in a matter of weeks. Winning cures everything. Just look at how people treated Russell Westbrook when he was in LA. One day, it was, trade him for a bag of chips. The next, it was, never mind, he's a dog. The same could happen with Brianna. Now imagine the Fever actually start cooking with Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Brianna locking down on defense. If this team makes a deep playoff run, fans will be ordering custom Brianna Turner Redemption Arc jerseys. And let's be honest, if there's one fan base that knows how to forgive and forget when it comes to basketball, it's Indiana. This state is obsessed with hoops. If you show up and put in work, they'll ride for you. If you help them get a championship, you're getting a statue.
So, in a kind of a surprising turn of events, the Indiana Fever have made yet another move this offseason, and they have signed Bree Turner to the roster.
So, Brianna's got the right mindset here. She's saying the right things, she's putting in the work, and if she backs it up on the court, all that old drama will disappear faster than a free Big Mac giveaway when the home team scores 100 points. Indiana Fever fans just want to win. They don't need apologies, they need buckets and defense. And if Brianna delivers, yeah, those skeptical fans will be at the games like, who? Me? I never doubted her for a second. Now, this hilarious. I mean, Brianna Turner has gone from being borderline allergic to the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark to now suiting up in that blue and gold like she's been a lifelong fan. If you told Fever fans a few months ago that Brianna would be rocking an Indiana jersey, they would have laughed in your face. And yet, here we are. It's like the Indiana Fever are the hottest club in the league right now, and suddenly, every WNBA player is looking at their old tweets like, wait, did I ever say anything bad about Indiana? Let me delete that real quick. This is wild, because just a few months ago, people were talking about the Fever like it was a career death sentence. Players were acting like getting drafted there was the equivalent of getting sent to the Shadow Realm. And let's not forget Cheryl Swoops, who straight up said players weren't attracted to Indiana.
Because then when you factor in free agency, you got players on this Indiana Fever team.
They getting paid anyway?
That are like, no, but players who will be free agents next year. There's a lot of other going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Free agents are looking at the Fever like it's the golden ticket to the future. And people who used to act like Caitlin Clark was the villain in a basketball movie are now talking about how excited they are to play alongside her. Oh, how the tables have turned. And let's be real, this isn't just about Brianna Turner. We've seen other players go from side-eyeing Indiana to suddenly realizing, wait, they might actually be good. The second Caitlin Clark got drafted, it was like the Fever became the most clout-worthy team in the league. Suddenly, players who used to act like Indiana was a haunted house started knocking on the door like, hey, y'all got room for one more?
She did a lot of talking a few months ago about the Indiana Fever, the locker room environment, how people didn't want to play there, how people wanted to leave. Stephanie White came in and said, okay, hold up. Let me go to Indeed.com and Indeed get some free agents to come in here that want to play, that are accomplished, seasoned veterans.
Let's be honest. If the Fever were still the struggling team from the past few years, would Brianna be saying how excited she is to be here? Probably not. But now that this team is actually looking like a real contender, it's all love. And here's the thing. Fever fans aren't dumb. They remember who was talking trash just a few months ago. They remember the snarky comments, the dismissive takes, the Indiana is irrelevant energy. But guess what? Winning erases everything. If Brianna goes out there, plays defense like a maniac, and helps this team make a deep playoff run, nobody's going to care what she said before, because right now, Indiana is proving everybody wrong. All that nonsense about nobody wants to play for the Fever is getting debunked in real time. Brianna Turner is just the latest example. So the real question is, who's next? Because at this rate, everybody who once clowned the Fever might be lining up to join them soon. And when that happens, Fever fans better start pulling up receipts.
And people on their feed were literally like saying, look, this is enough, okay? We're not a fan of this signing. Sorry, not sorry. We've seen what she has said about the fans. Something came across my Twitter earlier. I asked, is this one of her deleted posts from back in the day? They said, well, probably. It was certainly one of her ex-Twitter takes. And I was like, well, who's got the deleted ones? You know, the internet's forever. Seriously. It's a bad situation. It is.
Nevertheless, Brianna Turner isn't just joining the Indiana Fever. She's stepping into the lion's den with something to prove. Fans aren't exactly rolling out the red carpet just yet, and let's be real, some of them probably still have her past remarks about Caitlin Clark saved in their receipts folder. The big concern? The locker room dynamic. Some people think Brianna's past words could create tension, like she's walking into a family reunion after roasting everyone on Twitter. But Turner isn't here for drama. She's here for business. She's already made it clear she's putting all that behind her and is focused on helping Indiana win. Now, does that mean Caitlin Clark and the rest of the Fever are out here throwing a welcome party with balloons and confetti? Probably not. But professional athletes don't have to be best friends to win games. They just have to show up, lock in, and deliver when it matters. That's what Fever fans are watching for. They don't want excuses, awkward tension, or passive-aggressive subtweets. They want buckets, defense, and win, and most importantly, WNBA title.
It's funny that all these people who hated the Indiana Fever last year is finally coming around to sign with the team. Go figure. Now, I don't know the whole initial thing about this signing, maybe for depth, defensive purposes, but it is funny to see how what a year make when the Indiana Fever is one of the, not one, but is the top team in the WNBA.
Now, Brianna has no choice but to show out. She's coming into a team that already has a face of the franchise in Caitlin Clark. Indiana fans love their superstar, and they're not about to support anyone who brings negativity her way. If Turner underperforms, she won't just hear about it from the coaching staff. She'll have an entire state ready to ship her out faster than a bad trade deal. But what if Brianna delivers? What if she locks in, puts up numbers, and helps this team make a deep playoff run? The same fans who were skeptical will be tweeting, "I always knew she'd fit in," like they didn't just boo her months ago. That's the power of basketball. Winning erases everything. Turner isn't walking into an easy situation, but she has a golden opportunity. If she keeps her head down, works hard, and plays her role, all that past drama will disappear. But if there's even a hint of locker room tension, you can bet the media will have a field day.
For me, like the craziest thing, as I've said before in previous videos, like way back in season, Bree Turner didn't look that bad coming off the bench, right? The issue again is that she came off the bench and played defense. Girl, we need you to come off the bench and get a freaking bucket. And when she did get a bucket, she was efficient at it. She was the most efficient big that we had on the Sky, period.
As it stands, the Indiana Fever are in win now mode, and they're proving it by stacking their roster with every piece they think will help them snatch that championship. First, they brought in Sydney Colson, yes, A'ja Wilson's bestie and full-time WNBA comedian. And now, they've signed Brianna Turner, a former teammate of Angel Reese. Now, if this were a comedy club, adding Colson might make sense. She's more known for her Twitter fingers than her jump shot. And let's be honest, anyone who's best friends with A'ja Wilson probably learned from the best when it comes to running their mouth and doing the bare minimum. But hey, Maybe she can keep the bench warm while Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston do the real work. And then there's Brianna Turner. On paper, she brings defensive versatility and could be a solid addition. But not everyone is convinced. Some think this move could actually set the Fever back, questioning if she even fits the Caitlin Clark era.
What Steph White is doing and what the Fever organization is doing is nothing less than phenomenal.
Look, Indiana has been making all the right moves this offseason to build a squad that can compete for a title. But some fans aren't sold on how this signing will sit in the locker room. There are already concerns about dividing the team, considering how Brianna has had less than stellar opinions on Indiana and Caitlin Clark before. Imagine walking into your new workplace, and everyone already knows you spent the last year trash-talking them on social media. Awkward. Sydney Colson being around doesn't help either. She's practically a lifetime subscriber to the Asia Wilson is the greatest fan club, despite the fact that Wilson disappears every time her team really needs her.
Really not happy about this one. They are really not happy. Everyone is having to to realize, everyone's having to go back on what they've said. You've now got Sydney Colson signing for the Fever, and this one they're not happy about.
The Fever don't need Asia Wilson leftovers or Angel Reese's old teammates. They need winners. However, Brianna Turner joining the Fever is like waking up to find out your grandma just bought a PS5. Completely unexpected, but now you're curious to see what happens next. When Fever fans were making their off-season wish lists, Brianna's name probably wasn't at the top. Not because she isn't talented, but because, well, she hasn't exactly been the biggest Indiana hype woman. But now that she's here, the real question is, how does she fit?
Folks, between me and you guys, I can't wait for the first missed layup Brianna Turner has. I can't wait for the first wide open missed layup that Brianna, because we know she can't make a layup. God, Lord knows she can't make a lineup. She can play defense, right? She can play defense. I'll give it to her, right? She's all WNBA defense first team twice. Okay, she could play defense.
Let's be honest, defensively, she brings something the Fever desperately need. A versatile, shot-blocking presence to anchor the paint. Look, she's not about to drop 30 a night, but she doesn't have to. Her job is to set screens, grab rebounds, and make life miserable for opponents. If she plays her role, this Fever team could be a serious problem to rivals. So, is this move going to be a disaster or a genius pickup? Either way, it's going to be fun watching it unfold. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.